Talking about how you use the story on campus and how people have been using the story to work together in a group in a way that is very liberating. And it seems like the story is something that everyone can connect to. So if you could tell me how you've been encouraged by the universality of it, and also how we should all be encouraged by the story and our part in the story.
Well, yeah, that's good. I've been reading the Bible for a big chunk of my life, and been teaching the Bible, and been doing campus ministry and pastoral ministry. But it wasn't until 10 years ago that I finally came to realize that the Bible's telling a story, it's not just a collection of little stories and anecdotes and helpful verses to memorize and use to better my life. But really, there's this epic narrative that's sweeping through the whole of Scripture. And the first time I heard that, it was so compelling, because it was such a different story than the one I had heard to that point. And this excitement in me bubbled up. Said, "This is what I want to give my life to. I want to give my life to this story. I want to find my home in this story." And so over the last 10 years, as I try to tell that story with my wife, with groups of all different kinds. The reason the book is called The Story of God, The Story of Us, is because, yes, the Bible is clearly the story of God, but it's also our story. And it's the characters that make the story remind us of ourselves in so many ways. I think as people hear the story together and encounter these people who, warts and all, are actually taking seriously the stories that Scripture tells about them, and weaving those into the big story as they are, people find themselves and say, that's a lot like me. You know, wow, I messed up as big as David has.
Right.
You know, adultery, trying to cover it up, maybe having killed someone, but that's led to all forms of death.
Right.
The God's people in bondage in Egypt, yeah, I know what it means to be in bondage. And so, as we've narrated this story, people find their own stories intersecting with God's story in ways that perhaps they haven't through sitting in a pew or a theatre seat in a church building once a week and hearing a sermon, or even going through the Gospel of Mark on campus. Still have not really heard God's story in a way that has captured our imagination and found that their own story being caught up in all its majesty and mess.